What's up, chums? Sharky here. So, I hope you're ready for a rant video because that's pretty much what this is gonna be. Today, I'm gonna be talking about why I both love and hate Disney. When I was growing up in the 90s, like, all kids my age at the time were probably watching Disney movies. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts about what Disney is doing nowadays versus like back in the day, I guess. And no company is perfect. I mean, they are like a corporation, so like they're always gonna be flawed because there's money involved. And I'm not saying that Disney's never been like corrupted, because honestly, as I just said, like when there's money involved, there's always going to be shady stuff going on. And there was even shady stuff going on back when I was a kid that I didn't know about until like way later, doing research on it. Like people that have worked for Disney and the live action child actor stuff, and there's a lot. I'm not going to unpack that kind of stuff in this video. I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on like the last couple Disney movies and kind of just like the direction that they've been going and what I think about it. So, and of course I have to talk about the Disney live action remakes that they've been making since 2019, which I think Lion King wasn't the first one that came out. There was a live action Jungle Book a long time ago, and I've actually researched it, and they have said that the live action Jungle Book is actually what started this whole slew of like live action remakes of old Disney movies. I apologize if you hear any background noise. There's people down at the pool right now. So that's actually kind of what started this like slew of remakes. I will be honest, I have not actually seen any of the Disney live action remakes. I haven't seen Lion King, I haven't seen Aladdin, Mulan. I haven't watched any of them. I have, however, researched and watched reviews from other people that do like clip breakdowns and things. So I've seen enough to like understand what the movie's about without actually giving Disney my money and watching it. And just from like what I've seen, it really was a red flag for me because it feels so cheap, I guess, is the best word I could use to describe it. It feels like they're repackaging nostalgia and just like selling it as much as possible. Like, and I guess another word that could be used to describe all of Disney's recent moves is just unnecessary. Like, all of the live action remakes feel very unnecessary. Because the classics, the originals, they already exist. And it could be said that, Disney already ripped off, like Kimba the White Lion. And, Disney has ripped off other properties in the past, but they deny it, stuff like that. So, like I said before, Disney has never been perfect, like they have their issues. But with the live action remakes, that was the first time that I was like, whoa, like what is going on? It's really unfortunate that Disney does not really want to do 2D animation anymore, because without 2D animation, we wouldn't have 3D. So like, when they released their last 2D animation, which I believe was Princess and the Frog, because it didn't make as much money as they were hoping, they basically just stopped doing 2D movies altogether. And it's just really disappointing because, like, I don't know, it's not very respectful to the artists that still practice that as a medium and the origins of animation and things like that. And I'll get into that later, I'm sure. Just that they don't treat their employees well, they don't treat their artists very well. And there's so much work that goes into their films, but like, I don't know, something just doesn't feel right with this new Disney. So, in my personal experience, like, another thing that really, I guess, struck me was when I went to go see Frozen 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Frozen 2 came out before Toy Story 4, which I'm going to talk about Toy Story here in a second. But the first Frozen film that came out in 2013, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I'm not that into it, but from like a filmography standpoint and just all the work that went into it, I think it's a good film. However, after doing a little bit of research on Frozen 2, I found out that the movie was in fact in production hell for a very long time, between, the writers and the producers and the directors not agreeing on, what would happen in the sequel. And as an audience member, someone who actually went to the theater and went to go see it, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I'm not going to get into specifics about it. But the overall feeling after I finished watching it was, there's like screaming in the background. I just felt like it was a huge build-up to nothing, and it was a big waste of time. Now, with that said, Disney's animation is incredible. Like, their animation is like god tier. Like, you can't get any better than what they've been putting out, as far as, especially Pixar. Like, Pixar, like, no one tops them in animation. They are the kings of animation. However, it's really like the writing and the plots that these recent movies, I have just been like, what are you doing? Like, none of this makes any sense. The fact that Frozen 2's plot was even like agreed upon and executed is like baffling, especially from Disney. Like, I know not every single one of their movies is perfect, but like, dude, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's literally like a bad fan fiction with like an ending that just makes no sense because it has nothing to do with the first movie, like, at all, except for like their parents' death explained. But like, other than that, like, I don't know, I just felt like the entire movie was like building up to like, oh, it's gonna be like a new character, or something about the first movie we didn't know, but something that wasn't so retconned in there, like the war thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I really can say that I hate Frozen 2 as a film. I don't personally like it. The first one was okay. The second one, I don't know what they were doing with that. I'm really shocked that it got past quality control, honestly, because Disney, come on, man. Another one was Onward. My sister and I always beef about Onward because she really likes it, but personally, it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't really care for it that much. I don't know. I couldn't feel attached to the characters. I didn't really care what was going on with the main character, and I almost felt like sometimes there were too many characters. I don't know. Onward just really was not the movie for me. And some of this could just be personal preference, but I also feel like Disney's just not really trying very hard with like the plots and stuff of these new movies. Let's see. So before I get into Toy Story 4, I wanted to give credit where credit is due. Luca that came out last year in the summer. I love that movie. Like, the plot could have used some work. There were some things that didn't make sense, or like things that were just kind of too convenient, I guess. But overall, I loved Luca. As some of you might know, my boyfriend is Italian. I'm kind of biased when it comes to like Italian things in movies, but I love the characters. I thought it was a good film. I think Pixar and Disney did really well with Luca, even though it was a little too childish for me, but eh. And then also Turning Red. I did actually watch Turning Red, and I really enjoyed it. It actually made me cry. That's another thing that I'd like to talk about. These more recent Disney movies, apart from Turning Red, I don't feel anything. I don't feel like any emotional connection. And that's something that I really want to get into. Hopefully this video won't be too long. But that's what made old Disney movies good, is like the emotional connection that you have with the characters and the plot. It makes sense, it's good, and it's relatable. And I feel like these movies nowadays, like, it's just pure fun for fun's sake, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it means more and it's a better movie when it's relatable and you also have characters that you actually care about. Turning Red was really good. I actually cried during the part when May sees her mom as a kid in the woods or whatever, and her mom is just like, you know, vulnerable and just like, you know, I'm doing my best. Like, she was a kid too. That really like hit me hard because I have a really good relationship with my mom, but even though like we don't agree on everything, and I don't know, it just struck a chord in me. I got really upset and like emotional. But it was a good movie. It was relatable, especially because I grew up in the early 2000s. So I really felt for May, and that was relatable about it, and I really enjoyed that. So I'd like to go back to Toy Story 4. I can say, like, without a doubt, I hate Toy Story 4. They said that they were going to stop at the third film. The third film was a perfect wrap-up. It set up for a TV show. It was perfect. Like, they did not need, again, unnecessary sequels. I hate that because all it is a cash grab to make more money and more products. So when Toy Story 4 came out, I went with my sister to go watch it in theaters, and I left the theater angry. I was pissed for a few reasons. I feel like ultimately they took everything from the past movies and really just threw it out the window. Like, all of the character development and the relationship building between all of the characters that's very, like, familial, they took all of that and it was just like, no, we're not doing that. Like, Woody wants to leave, you know, and I won't get super into the plot, but another thing is that his relationship with Buzz, they just totally, like, throw it out. And it makes no sense because that's literally what they spent 3 movies, you know, building up to. And, like, it doesn't make sense why Woody would just want to leave all of a sudden, you know? But also, they ruined Buzz's character. Buzz Lightyear is one of my favorite characters, which I will get into the new movie Lightyear here in a second because that also irks me. But Buzz Lightyear is one of my favorite Disney characters. And I just feel like in Toy Story 4, they really just butchered his character. Like, they made him stupid, and, like, it's almost like... It's almost like they reverted him back to Toy Story 1 Buzz Lightyear, where, like, he has no empathy and like he doesn't understand what's going on. Like they really just dumbed down his character a lot, and I don't understand why. I think even Tim Allen, who plays Buzz Lightyear, he had a problem with like the plot and stuff of them just, you know, not being friends anymore and stuff. And it's just really disappointing that that's what they came up with, and especially after they said that they weren't going to make any more. Like, this is how you end things? Like, what? So, I don't know. I really don't like that movie. With that said, I have not seen Lightyear that just came out. I don't plan on seeing it. I guess you could say I'm pretty much on like a Disney boycott. I'm not watching any of their new stuff, with the exception of like Pixar. I don't know. Like, I'm very, very picky. Like, I have not seen anything but Turning Red and Luca. Those are like the most recent stuff that I've seen, aside from like Marvel and stuff. Marvel to me is separate though, because they kind of let their team, the Marvel team, do what they want, and they don't have a lot of creative control over Marvel. So it's less of an issue. But with Toy Story especially, I just feel like Toy Story 4 is so unnecessary, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't think it was relatable. I didn't feel anything. And that's what I was telling my sister, is that I felt more emotion in the Gabby Talks a Lot doll. I had more like empathy for her than Woody. Like, Woody, I was fed up with. I was like, you know what? If you're gonna be like that and like throw out your entire family, I don't care what happens to you. But I was more invested in Gabby's story than like anything else. Like her story when she actually finds somebody to take her, that made me cry. Woody leaving his toy family did not make me cry. I was like, you know what? You're a piece of crap. Like, just go off and do whatever. It's dumb. I can't. I'm so heated right now. I'm sweating, but yeah. I really, really, really hope that they don't make a Toy Story 5, because we don't need it. Like, just stop. So, like I was saying before, with Lightyear, I've heard from people who have seen it that the plot is just kind of all over the place. They threw out the whole Zurg is Buzz's dad thing. That's not a thing anymore. I don't know, man. Like, the animation isn't the problem, and I've said this a lot. The animation is not the problem. It's the writing and the character development, or lack thereof, that's the problem. And I really think Disney needs to hire some new writers. I have literally seen fan fictions. I've read fan fictions that were better than some of the movies that Disney is putting out. And that is a fact. Another thing I wanted to say is that Disney, you're a coward for not taking risks with new projects. Like, maybe Turning Red was a risk, but think about how long it took us to get to that point. Like, literally since 2019, or maybe even like earlier than that. Because DreamWorks, who I talk about a lot on this channel, they've been bleeding money for years, true. Like, their last couple movies have not been it, but at least they take risks. I give credit where credit is due, and DreamWorks takes risks, and I give them props for that. And I really wish that Disney would do that a lot more often, but they don't, because they know, like, nostalgia sells. They know how to manipulate people into buying their stuff. So I would say, like, I hate love Disney, because I still buy their stuff. I still like, you know, Lilo and Stitch, Atlantis, 101 Dalmatians. You know, I have a pin collection that's like half Disney. You know, I do own Disney movies. But like as far as the new stuff that's coming out, I really don't like it. It's just not it for me personally. I would love to know what you guys think on this topic because as furries, I'm sure a lot of you out there are Disney fans. So please share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sorry for getting so heated. But I also want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching the podcast. I'm planning on doing an episode with Alex Radioactive very soon, who is one of my best friends, and he's pretty well known in the baby fur community, but I don't necessarily think that's what our topic will be about, but yeah, stay cool this summer, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.